Hello and welcome back to Suspended Fanimation. I'm your host, Dennis Bithoulkas, and it's time for Saturday Morning Blast Off. Welcome, nobody at the moment. Oh, man. Yeah, so it was a really slow news week. I mean, I think I got 6 items maybe at most. So I was going to do a little something different this time around and have you guys talk to me. And I know I normally do this at the end of the podcast, but sure, why not? We'll do a whole thing on, I'll sprinkle some stuff in there when it gets slow and whatnot. But before I do that, let me take care of some business first. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. If you're still on the fence about subscribing, take a look at the video that pops up at the very end here. Basically, what YouTube does takes the algorithms of all the stuff you've been watching and tries to match it as best as possible to one of the videos of my vast video library and pops it up there just for you. And if you like what you see there, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you want to know when I'm being on live again next, you get the bell down below. It's a 50-50 chance of YouTube actually notifying you. Best thing to do is go to suspendedfanimation.com. Take a look at the schedule I have up there. And I have all my social media up there as well. So Twitter, Instagram, Patreon. No tiers up in the Patreon. I'm waiting until I hit 1,000 subscribers. It keeps bouncing back and forth. It'll get there eventually. Basically, once I hit 1,000 subscribers and you guys are giving me money, I give you something in return. I also have the links to this YouTube channel, my Facebook page, and a Facebook group page for those of you who still have it, that you guys can post stuff and chat amongst yourselves. So, I see there's 2 people in here that are kind of lurking, but so yeah. So, what are you guys watching, reading, playing, that kind of stuff out there? That's nerdy, geeky, whatever, genre-wise, horror-filled. I don't know. Let me know. Tell me. And while you guys are getting that together, let's see what's in the news here. Spielberg and the Duffer Brothers, the guys are doing Stranger Things. They're going to be producing a Netflix series based on Stephen King's The Talisman. Okay. I know that book's been around like forever, and I want to say that it was attempted to be a movie at one point and it never happened. So, yeah, I'm really not big on the Stephen King things anymore. It's just been played out. It really has. It's been 40 years worth of Stephen King stuff. 50 years, honestly. They started in the 70s, and yeah, it's been more 40 years of nothing but Stephen King stuff. And yeah, I can't find the motivation for it. I really can't. Yeah, not really a big Stephen King fan at the moment. There's some stuff here and there that I like of his, but nothing overall. I'm not a I won't go out of my way to go and see his stuff. Let's just put it that way. In fact, I'll probably go out of my way to avoid it, if anything. What else? So I talked about this last week. Spike Lee is going to be directing a Netflix movie called Gordon Hemingway and the Realm of Cthulhu, which is supposed to be about a gunfighter in the 1920s who is he and an African warrior princess are supposed to be protecting their charge from otherworldly things. And it turns out that Jonathan Majors from Lovecraft Country is going to be the star. He's going to be Gordon Hemingway. Excuse me. I don't know why my throat decided everything was fine up until I turned on the camera. And then, of course, my throat just goes to hell. But yeah, anything with Jonathan Majors in it, and I'll go and watch it. Yeah, because I dig Jonathan Majors, man. He's a good guy there. Raymond says, I take it you haven't read the Dark Tower series then? I read the first 2 when they first came out, Raymond, and then I was like, and then when I read that he was going to basically write these books until he dies, I was like, yeah, no, you don't have anything planned out, dude. You just it's kind of a writing project is really what it is. and you're getting it published. Yeah. So it really didn't do anything for me. Yeah. If anything, I liked Dragon Tears that he did. And I know it was a book that he wrote for his daughter at that time. And I actually kind of liked that one. It wasn't a bad book. And because it was a departure from Stephen King normal stories, I think, and that's what I liked about it. And also, it was just a good story. Trying to think of anything else of his. Well, Maximum Overdrive. That was the other thing that, and when I heard that Joe Hill, his son, was actually talking about remaking Maximum Overdrive, I was like, all right, I can dig that. I mean, Maximum Overdrive was so campy that I was okay with that. Raymond said, no, he had to finish it because he almost died in a car. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that he almost died in a car crash, so he decided to finish the series. But initially, what he was saying was, as the Dark Tower series was going to be something that he was just going to keep writing until he died. But I guess because he almost died in that car crash, he's like, no, I'm going to end the series. But yeah, it just wasn't my cup of tea. So what else here? So speaking of Stephen King, because Sissy Spacek was in God, that Amazon or the Hulu series. Fuck, I can't remember what it was called now. Some town. That I didn't like it. So anyway, Sissy Spacek and Ed O'Neill are going to star in the Amazon series Light Years. And what the whole story is about is this couple, Ed O'Neill and Sissy Spacek, discover a doorway that's buried underground near at their house, and it goes to another world. And for years, they've been going to this other world. They've been keeping it really quiet until somebody else moves in. Some younger guy moves in and next door or something like that, and threatens that. The doorway turns out to be something more than they never knew it was supposed to be about. I'm in for it. So Raymond says, yeah, there was like a 20-year gap between the third and the fourth. The original G.R.R. Martin. Yeah. Counterpart 2. I don't think it's going to be that, Apple Crow. I think what it's supposed to be is it just goes to another world, kind of like a wormhole or something like that. And maybe it's Stargate 2. The Quest for Gold. I don't know. Curly's Gold. Goa'uld. There we go. City Slickers 2, The Quest for Curly's Gold. You know, that yeah. That's what I was making a joke on, and I failed miserably. So there we go. It was, what do you want, man? It's a fucking Saturday morning. And I am not altogether there with it. Not that I ever really am, but still. And I'm going to go get my shot today, my first shot in the vaccine series. So that's happening later on this afternoon, and that's always going to be fun. Indiana Jones and the Last Viable Script. No, Indiana Jones and we're digging up this script from the grave is where that's coming from. There's no last viable script for Indiana Jones, even though Mangold's writing it and directing it. I don't have any hopes for that. Harrison Ford most likely will be like 95 years old by the time they shoot that thing. They'll wheel him out in a wheelchair and swinging from a vine on a wheelchair. Hey, I belong in a museum. Superman and Lois has been renewed for a second season. Surprise, surprise. Considering that really the CW doesn't have a lot really going for it, to tell you the truth. Black Lightning's ending this season. Supergirl's ending this season. Rumor has it that, The Flash is supposed to be ending. If not this season, most likely the 8th season will be its last season. So what else do you have? Legend of Tomorrow most likely will end as well. So yeah, I'm enjoying Superman and Lois so far. I mean, I know it's 2 episodes in, but I'm actually kind of enjoying it, to tell you the truth. I mean, yes, now we know it's the whole thing about Crisis on Infinite Earths. That's what it's supposed to be about. Um, it's kind of the leftovers on that storyline, but I'm digging it. I really am. I kind of like the way they're doing this with Lois. They're making Lois the hard-nosed reporter that she has been in comics and in the animated series. And I don't really think we've seen that too much since Margot Kidder, really. And even that was kind of toned down a little bit. I'm liking what Bitsy Tulloch is putting down on this one for Lois. Um, I really do. Even though it's only 2 episodes in, I'm digging what they're doing. And like I've said before, I like the guy who's playing Superman. I've liked him since he was on Supergirl, and hopefully they're going to introduce Batman as well at some point. Apple Crow says, "What's next after sappy superhero shows? We had sappy supernatural shows. I'm worried that sappy sci-fi feelings and airlocks is coming." They already did Roswell. That's what that was. Apple Crow. Roswell was Dawson's Creek mixed with aliens. And it was so sappy that they actually redid it again for the 2020s or 10s. So there we go. Raymond says, "I don't know much about Superman other than the animated series, both 90s and 40s. And I thought Luthor was a Steel or Eradicator." So it's, well, without going into any spoilers, they had the Crisis of Infinite Earths that happened. And if you go back on the CW, you can actually watch that. And it was a good series. It's, I believe, it's over 4 episodes. And it explains about other worlds and how these other worlds got destroyed. And that kind of gives you some backstory onto what this storyline is with Superman and Lois. Yeah. That was 20 years ago. Is the cycle complete? No, it happened again. Apple Crow Roswell is all brand new. I think it just got canceled last year because no one was watching it, because no one really cares about Dawson's Creek anymore, and yeah, all that stuff. I sure don't. I never cared about it when it was originally on. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that were into it and whatnot, but not me. Big surprise on that one too. Raymond says, "Dude, I haven't seen the CW since the Joss Whedon days." So there's an app, Raymond, that you can watch the episodes for free. You don't need to uh, go into anything else. I mean, I've been watching on my Fire TV, and basically the next day after those air on the CW, you can watch them. And I think they have all the seasons on there too. So yeah, the whole Crisis series is on there, and it's worth it. I mean, that Crisis that they did last year was really good. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of stuff in it that was um, really a lot of fun. I mean, you had the guy who's voicing Batman for Batman the Animated Series. Now I'm blanking on his name. Kevin Conroy. I could see his face. He actually played an old Bruce Wayne on the Crisis of Infinite Earths with the exosuit from Kingdom Come. And I was like, fuck yeah, they did Kingdom Come Batman. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Apple Crow says, "I cared about Dawson's Creek because, okay, I only care about what's her face. I mean, she was 18. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can see your face, but I can't remember her name. Again, it's Saturday morning. I'm not really with it at the moment, but hey, what the hell?" I thought this was kind of interesting. Amazon wants to do a live action Helsing series with Derek Kolstad, the guy who basically wrote and created John Wick, as the writer. Now, if you don't know what Helsing is a anime series about Alucard, Dracula, of course, who is working for a government agency called the Helsing organization. He's basically bound to them, and it's like spy stuff, but also military stuff and whatnot. And it's actually a really good series. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest going out there and taking a look at it. I think it came out in the 90s, I want to say, is when Helsing. It's based off of a manga series, of course. And I'm interested to see how they're going to do a live action series of this. I want to say there was a live action series done in Asia on this, but I can't be sure offhand. This is going to be, of course, an American production on this one. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Carl. Yeah, you interested in that in the Helsing series? Yeah, I am too. I actually really like the Helsing series. The animated series was fucking kick ass. It really was. They did a really good job on it, and hopefully they bring that. Well, I mean, they got the guy Derek Kolstad who's writing it, and he doesn't shy away from the violence. So that's actually good. Katie Holmes, thank you, Raymond. Yeah, I forgot her name. It's yeah, it just wasn't all that important to me. That's why I just kind of yeah. Apple Crow says, I still want my Martin Blank John Wick. Oh, yeah, that would actually be really good. Martin Blank. So, funny story about, Martin. So, we're talking about Gross Point Blank here, which is one of my favorite John Cusack movies, by the way, Apple Crow. And um, John Cusack, of course, was producing a lot of his movies, probably around his late 30s, early 40s, somewhere around there. And so, yeah, Grosse Point Blank was one of them, and then he did War Incorporated, which was supposedly the unofficial sequel to Grosse Point Blank. That's what he said anyway. Was that it was the unofficial sequel, even though the character wasn't named Martin Blank. So, yeah, if you ever get a chance, it's not a good movie. Hilary Duff is in it. Hilary Duff is actually pretty good in it, I have to admit. I think that was her first acting gig off of after TV, if I want to say, and yeah, it wasn't bad, Carl. I agree with you. Yeah, but yeah, that's one of my favorite movies. Though, is Grosse Point Blank. I actually used the. What was that? I was looking at the mirror yesterday, a couple days ago. I think I'm like, "You're a handsome devil. What's your name?" That all of a sudden just popped into my head, and yeah, that's from Grosse Point Blank. Yeah. Um, I just dig that, you know, John Cusack was actually taking martial arts lessons from a real martial artist, of course. Well, of course, I mean, he's taking martial arts lessons. Yeah. Um, and his teacher, the guy is actually a well-known kickboxer on the circuit and everything like that at the time, and he appears in the movie as an assassin going after Martin Blank, his character, and that was actually really good. That's actually a good fight scene. It's a real fight scene too. They do a really good job on that one. If you're ever looking for something to do, an assassin who comes back to his high school family reunion. Dan Aykroyd's in it. Minnie Driver's in it. Trying to think who else is in that movie. Jeremy Piven's in it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, the other line that had popped into my head too, and this was a couple of days ago too, which was kind of funny that bringing this up now, is you can't go home again, but you sure can shop there. uh, you felt like you've heard of that trope before, yeah. You mean the assassin going home to high school reunion? Well, that was done in I want to say Grosse Point Blank was done. That was when I was still living up here in the Bay Area. So, ooh, I want to say that was the late 90s, 98, somewhere around there. Yeah, I think that's when it was 98. Funny story on that one. So when that came out in the theaters, I went opening day and went and watched it. And as I was leaving the theater, there was a news crew outside that were interviewing people for movies, what movies they saw, and what they thought of their movies that they saw. And I'd seen Grosse Point Blank, of course, and I came out and I did a little synopsis. I just basically said, what I thought of the movie, and I liked it, and blah blah blah. And they're like, great, you're going to be, and I'm going to call them out as KPIX Channel 5 here in the Bay Area. And they're like, take a look at the news tonight. Most you might be on. We might cut you. Who knows? I'm like, all right, great. So I told a couple of people, and we're watching it, and the fucking anchor. Not well. He wasn't even the anchor. He was I think it was the weekend. So he was the weekend night desk guy. And literally word for word, what I said is what he said as the review for Grosse Point Blank. And I was like, motherfucker. And yeah, and that was it. So basically, he took exactly what I said. He said it, and then they didn't show any of my footage whatsoever. So fuck that guy. He no longer works at KPIX, so I don't even remember his name. I don't remember what he looks like, honestly. I just remember it pissed me off. I didn't sign anything, of course, but hey, what do you want? So the final thing that I actually have here, news-wise, I guess you could say. So remember Woo Assassins that I covered on a like way back when on Is It Worth My Time? And for some reason, Woo Assassins is my highest viewed. I split it into two parts, and those are my highest viewed podcasts, I guess you could say, or videos. And I don't know why they keep getting views like every week and like in the hundreds for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, there's going to be a 90-minute movie sequel on Netflix called Fistful of Vengeance, which is going to bring back the whole cast, and they're going to do a 90-minute sequel to it. Okay, great. Obviously, Netflix did not have enough confidence to do another, to continue the series, but instead just decided to do a movie instead. It was a weird show. It really was. It was a weird little series, and I don't know. There was stuff in it that worked, stuff that didn't work. So yeah. Raymond says, I have a confession. I often repeat your review points to break the ice. That's fine. That's cool, man. I have no problem with that. But if you're broadcasting it like out there, like they did on TV, that kind of pisses me off, man. It's like, give credit where credit's due. If you are using it to sell whatever, at this point you're selling ads for the news, but still. Yeah, I don't mind people using it at parties and stuff like that. It's cool. Thank you. Apple Crow says, looking for a little validation. Yeah, I know. Looking for a little validation in my life. I'm coming up short. Thank you, Jeremy Piven. Hi, Jenny Slater. Hi, Jenny Slater. Hi, Jenny Slater. I've seen that movie so often, Apple Crow. Yes, I know the lines to it. It is, and it's got a killer soundtrack too. Grosse Point Blank. It's John Cusack really, really knows his music, his '80s music, and he really puts together. Grosse Point Blank is a 2 CD set, as a matter of fact. It's got that much music in it, and it's got good '80s music. It really does. So it wasn't just High Fidelity that he helped with the soundtrack on that, but it was also Grosse Point Blank that he just put together the entire soundtrack on that one. I did see that, Philip. I'm actually going to be talking about that on Tuesday. I'm going to be talking about Pacific Rim: The Dark. Yeah. You were going to type the Jenny Slater one, Apple Crow. Hi, Jenny Slater. Hi, Jenny Slater. Hi. He's such a fucking annoying douchebag. And supposedly he's a huge douchebag in real life too, Jeremy Piven. So go figure. But yeah, I guess him and John Cusack have known each other since they were kids. Yeah. Yeah. Applecure says, "For fuck's sake, people, your homework this week is to watch Gross Point Blank and Mastering Commander." Yeah, it is. It really is. Master and Commander, yeah. Going back to Master and Commander from a couple of weeks ago, when we were talking about that. It is really a good movie. There's just so many little points to it that, yeah, it's just really good. Really, really well done. Raymond K. Hustle says, "Name one actor that you didn't think much of until they blew your mind." Oh, that's easy, Raymond. That was Johnny Depp. So Johnny Depp, was on 21 Jump Street and Nightmare on Elm Street. He was in a few things here and there and just really I was like, yeah, whatever. And then I saw him in Donnie Brasco, and it's the garage scene where his wife finds the money and he's explaining it to her. And I was like, holy fuck, this guy can act. And that was yeah, that was my turning point for him. I know exactly where it was, because I was in the theater watching that and I saw that scene and I'm like, oh, this guy can actually act. Amazing. And yeah, and then of course he blew up from there. Yeah. Donnie Brasco it's a good movie. It's a damn good movie. And like I said, that was the turning point for me on Johnny Depp on that one. And then of course all the other shit happened and yeah, I'm back to square one. And also Brad Pitt. So Brad Pitt, I remember seeing him in Cool World and going, "Who the fuck is this model that's they've got here?" And then for me, it was 12 Monkeys with Brad Pitt when he comes out and he's just, he's got the weird ticks and everything. And I was like, holy shit, he made himself ugly and he's also acting. Who would have thought? So, yeah. Legends of the Fall I never saw. I just couldn't do it. It's I knew what the subject was and it just bored me to tears reading the synopsis of it. Yeah. Applecrust, it's not that I don't like Johnny Depp. I just don't like his. Yeah, I don't like his Rabbit fans either. They're fucking annoying. They really are. For you, it's Brad Pitt, Applecrow. Yeah. Yeah, Brad Pitt and 12 Monkeys. It was just kind of one of those things that up until then you hadn't really seen him act. He'd just been in things, and yeah, yeah. Raymond says, other than Star Wars, what is the sci-fi movie that changed it all for me? Oh, that's a good question. Are you talking about book? Are you talking about movie? Are you talking about TV series? Because there's a little bit of everything, there. Uh, yeah. You got to be a little more specific on that because I have stuff in every genre or every, I guess, medium, you could say. I can even go anime or animation, if you will, on that as well. But Blade Runner was good. Yeah, but I don't know if that was the deciding thing for me movie wise. um hmm. Well, Star Trek definitely growing up. I know that for TV series. That was definitely like a big, I was more of a Star Trek fan than a Star Wars fan. I was still a Star Wars fan, don't get me wrong. I mean, I grew up in that era when it came out, but I was more Star Trek than I was Star Wars. And trying to think what else. Sorry, I can hear Pepper. She's having a bad dream in the bedroom. That's the little popping sound. The roop, 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 that you're hearing is from her. So, yeah, Black Hole. Yeah, Black Hole was interesting. That was just a weird movie. Um, yeah, I'm trying to think movie-wise. Movie-wise, what would it have been? I remember seeing Forbidden Planet on, TV at the time. Oh, no, I know exactly, as a kid as a kid, um, here in the Bay Area, we actually had this, on KTVU Channel 2 is what it was called. We had a guy, Paul Stanley, and I've talked about Paul Stanley before. Paul Stanley is the guy who created Creature Features. Everyone says, "Oh, well, Creature Features is generic." No, Paul Stanley was the one that created Creature Features. The name, what it did, all that kind of stuff. He created it for Channel 2. It used to be on at, like, 11 p.m., midnight, somewhere around there. Um, and I remember, a couple of times being really young and staying up late to watch it, getting the shit scared out of me and, not going to sleep. But he also, during the daytime and the weekdays, was doing, like, children's shows. So they had, the Japanese the Flash Gordon serials, the old 1930s and 40s Flash Gordon serials, he would play those. He would play the kaiju movies, like the Godzilla movies, also the series, the different Japanese 60s series that were coming out with, giant monsters and the protectors of humankind and all that kind of stuff. The um, Shoju. No, I can't remember the name of the Japanese name for it, but that was my first experience. I guess you could say my first exposure to that, and that's kind of what kickstarted a lot of things. Yeah. And that was during the weekday, so we'd all rush home, after school to go and watch that stuff, and yeah, it was cool. Everyone would talk about it at school the next day. Sorry. Oh, excuse me. I was waiting for that sneeze for a little while there, and I was hoping it wasn't gonna come, but yeah, it did. Sorry about that. Mufinobi says our local channel 56 had creature double feature on Saturdays. So yeah, we also had the local, I guess you could say, Asian channel, channel 26 here. They would do, it was kind of weird. They actually would go into English for Saturday for the Kung Fu Theater is what it was called. And they would play the old Shaw Brothers classics on Saturdays. So you could get a double feature sometimes out of that and get two Shaw Brothers movies. And for those of you who don't know what the Shaw Brothers movies are, they are the quintessential kung fu movies of the 70s. And they all came out of Hong Kong and Asia. And these are the things that basically kind of set up uh, modern martial arts movies, I guess you could say at that point. So yeah, and the Shaw Brothers, they're their own subset of genre as it is, and yeah, we used to watch that too, on Saturdays and whatnot. It was really cool. Yeah. Apple Crow says I'm on the phone walking my dog, so my typing is sloppy. Yeah. Well, yeah. Um. Thanks, Mufinobi. Uh, but yeah, like I said, there's a lot of influential stuff here in the Bay Area when I was a kid. Being in the San Francisco Bay Area, we had a lot of imports coming over from Asia at the time, and so I mean, I was kind of fortunate in that I had access to VHS from Asia. I mean, we had huge video stores of nothing but Asian, TV, movies, things like that. So some of the more obscure stuff. I mean, I know Quentin Tarantino, he worked at a video store. We've seen a lot of the same movies, he and I know what he bites from. That's why I don't like him as a director, quite honestly, because it's like you don't get influenced by it. He actually just kind of takes scenes and puts them in his movies. And it's like, well, that's all great and dandy, dude, but give credit where credit is due. So, yeah. Raymond says, sort of on topic. I recently watched Batman Soul of the Dragon. It was very 70s and up. Yeah, I want to see that too. I'm just waiting for the price to drop on that one. I don't want to spend $30 on it. I think it was like 30, either 25 or $30. And I know it's going to drop to like $15. I'll watch it for $15, but yeah. Just waiting on that one. Target should be having a sale on that one fairly soon. I want to see how they're going to mix 70s stuff into all of this. And yeah, it looks ridiculous. So that's the reason why I want to see it. If you have 70s stuff that looks really ridiculous, for example, Black Dynamite, I will probably watch it. Yeah. You rented it for $5 American. Yeah. It's called homage. Exactly. You can do an homage, but if you literally take something like a scene for scene or line for line, and you put it in your own movie and then call it your own and people laud you for it, I have a problem with that. And especially when you don't give credit to the person that you just took it from, that you stole it from. It's not an homage at that point. It's yeah. That's all I can say on that. Apple says, I saw an 80s sci-fi movie last night that I think is a hidden gem. Oh, I remember Solar Babies. Yeah, that's Jamie Gertz is in that. Fuck. The guy from Lost Boys, the older brother, he's in that. And then Lucas Haas is in that one as a kid. Yeah. That wasn't that great of a movie, but I remember Solar Babies. Yeah, that had a run on HBO for a while there, like late night HBO. It would play back in the 80s and 80s and 90s. It would play. Yeah. Apple says, I'm in Texas. We're 100% open now. All right. Good for you. We're going to close the borders right to Texas. Okay. Governor's mansion tours not applicable due to health concerns. Oh man. Carl says, like when they remade Psycho scene for that whole remake of Psycho scene for scene. I got what Jan de Bont was trying to do, but at the same time, it didn't work because it's a product of its era. A lot of these movies are products of their era and don't work when you do them 20, 30 years later, especially if you don't decide to modernize them, I guess you could say, or update them or put them in the correct context for the era that you're now filming it in. And yeah, it just doesn't work. That's why if you go back and watch, and I'm just going to use a movie like Shrek, which is an animated movie that has a shit ton of references, pop culture references in it that make no sense whatsoever to anybody watching that now. Any child that was born in the last 10 years is going to look at that and go, who in the fuck is Britney Spears? Yes, because I know she's starting to trend again, but no one knows. Those 10-year-olds don't know who the hell she is. Raymond says, anybody gaming? I'm balls deep in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Really? Okay. Yeah, I hooked back at my PS4, but I haven't turned it on. And I was playing Avengers, I think was the last thing I was doing. And I haven't gone any further on that. I've been too busy with the new job, quite honestly. So I haven't done anything like that. Yeah. Applecrow says that was one of the main issues with Ad Astra. It felt like they were just copying better movies. Oh yeah, that's the Brad Pitt, Tommy Lee Jones movie. That was a horrible movie. I couldn't figure out what the hell they were trying to get at. If there was a point to it, and there wasn't. That's what pissed me off about Ad Astra. It didn't make any sense. Mufino says AC will send Wanda to put a hex around. I don't call it hexes. Valhalla and Persona 5 Strikers. That's what you're playing there. Yeah. Yeah. So there's been I've been noticing a trend of space movies that happen with really well established actors, like starting with Sandra Bullock with her Stranded in Space one that she did. And then George Clooney was doing Solaris, and then and it seems to be those people that are in the Ocean's 11 realm, I guess you could say. And yes, Sandra Bullock is in that because she did uh, Ocean 9 or something like that. Yeah, so which is tied to the Ocean's 11 movies. Don't get me started on that. But yeah, so they all have taken their shot at these movies. Interstellar, which isn't in that realm, comes close, but still it's a navel gazer movie because it doesn't rely on Matthew McConaughey's character whatsoever. It really doesn't on what they're doing on their mission. They still take off in the end and they're going towards one of the planets, and then they finally get confirmation while they're in flight that yes, that is habitable, but they're already taking off at that point. So yeah, it didn't make any sense. Apple says Gravity is in the running for my most hated movie. I think I saw that in IMAX too, if I'm not mistaken, because they said, "Oh, you got to see it in IMAX." And I was like, "All right, I don't." Yeah, it's supposed to be disorienting, and I'm like sitting there going, "Yeah, it's a big bunch of nothing." Yeah, you got the camera spinning around, so it's a Paul Greengrass movie, is what it is. Just one of his normal movies where he puts the camera in a dryer and lets it go. So, yeah. Hey, Penn, how's it going? Um, anyone see the Ronald D. Moore series yet? I haven't. Did he do a new series? I don't know that Ronald D. Moore did something. He really does. I mean, if you go back and watch, what did he do? Which Bourne movie did he do? Number 3 or number 2? And that was the one where people were actually getting up and leaving the theater and vomiting because of the motion camera stuff that was going on. It was because of Paul Greengrass. Yeah. Ooh. Really? Tony Hernandez? Is that just me? uh, well, thank you. And a good morning to you as well. It's always nice to get fan letters. Um, so yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, it's on Apple TV. Oh, is this the For All Mankind one? Is that the one? Because I haven't watched it. Because one, I'm not going to pay for Apple TV. I think I can get it on the Fire TV app. Yeah, I haven't heard anything like really compelling about it. It hasn't been like, The Mandalorian or WandaVision or something like that where they're like, "Fuck, you need to see this." Everyone I've heard that's seen it says, it's all right. I'm like, is it worth Apple TV? No, it's not worth Apple TV. People really don't give a shit about that. Didn't the Jason Momoa movie, did that the show about everyone being blind in the future? Didn't that crash and burn as well? Did they cancel that one already? Movie Finale says haven't heard it for you have it for free, some promo, and I haven't heard word of mouth either. Okay. Yeah, Jason Momoa has been like he's been doing everything. I really want him to do another season of Frontier on Netflix. Frontier was actually a good fucking show. It really was. If you haven't watched Frontier on Netflix, take a look at it. That's actually a really good show. I like that one. It's kind of for me, it's kind of the spiritual cousin of Hell on Wheels and Taboo, the Tom Hardy series Taboo. And Taboo really needs another series. It needs another season. It really does. I know it was really goddamn expensive, but they need to do it. Yeah. Yeah, I never heard anything good about the Momoa series. Yeah, I don't blame you. Pretty much anything that's come out of Apple TV, I haven't heard anything good about. I mean, yeah, there's stuff that's been nominated for the Golden Globes, but I don't think anything won. And yeah, Raymond says he should be Craven the Hunter, and Henry Cavill should be the new Indiana Jones. I can see Jason Momoa as Craven the Hunter. I would have liked to have seen Keanu Reeves as that. That would have been kind of cool. Um, but Henry Cavill as Indiana Jones, not so much. Yeah. Recap, Stanley. Well, first I was born uh in the in a hospital that no longer exists. And then no. Did you like Hell on Wheels? Yes, I did like Hell on Wheels, Dante. Yes, that's actually one of my favorite series. Yeah, that actually is I really like that series. Oops, sorry. And that actually was how I became a fan of Anson Mount. Anson Mount is just awesome actor. Even being in the Inhuman series didn't really taint Anson Mount for me on that one. Yeah, I think you'd like Frontier movie Finobi if you're into the whole like Western expansion kind of stuff. But a lot of it's in Canada as well, and it's really good. It's really well done. Momoa also did Red Road. It wasn't bad. Is that the one that's is that the future one where Texas has been blocked out? You know, been there's a wall around Texas, and if you're in there, you're dead, kind of thing. Because I know he was in that. Kind of like what's happening right now, where we're getting ready to build the wall around Texas. Oh, don't tell Apple Crow. Uh, Raymond says, "Have you ever experienced anything supernatural or just really creepy?" Yeah, actually, the house that I grew up in San Francisco was supposedly haunted. There's always been rumors that it was a bootlegging house at one point in the 30s, or in the 20s, excuse me. And um, so the final thing, and it didn't happen to me on this one. There's other stuff that happened in the house, like weird noises and shit like that. But and this didn't happen to me, but my brother, when we had sold the house, we had moved out to the East Bay, and we still had keys to get access to the house and all that, but all the furniture had been moved out. He was staying at the house that night. He had gone out and partied and whatnot, and he was going to stay at the empty house. And he walked in the door, and as soon as he got in the door, he just heard this voice. He said it was really booming. It said, "Get out." He said he was immediately sober, closed up the door, left, and drove across the Bay Bridge, which it was like a 30-minute drive, to get home. So yeah, that's but yeah, that's really about it. I mean, my sister also, my oldest sister, same house. She used to get woken up um every night for like a couple of weeks by some dude in a white tuxedo who would come through the wall. He would slap her in the face, laugh, and then disappear through the wall. And she'd have a red hen print on her face where he slapped her. And uh, one night she just got pissed off when he came through the door and or when he came through the wall, excuse me, he came through the wall and she slapped him and he had a surprised look on his face and then disappeared. And that was it. So yeah, that's like I said, it was some creepy shit in that house. I never liked going in the laundry room, I remember as a kid. or the basement. Well, the laundry room is where I would never want to go into. There was always a bad vibe down there. Yeah. Penn Farm Girl says, no, Red Road was a murder mystery and a corporation taking over Indian land. I think it's been a long time. Okay. Well, I know he was in something. See, now you're going to make me look. I need to see what movie it was that he was in. He was in a movie. It's supposed to be, like I said, set in the future where Texas has been a wall that's been put up around it. And I want to say he has like a small part in it, but they were kind of like Jason Momoa, starring Jason Momoa. They're trying to say that he was all part of it and everything. And now I have to look for it because not Sugar Mountain. Really, he was in the oh no, the Bad Batch is something else. Okay, see the Red Road that you're talking about here. That was only 2014, 2015. Okay, maybe not. I can't find the other one that I was just talking about. Maybe it wasn't him that was in it. Maybe I'm mistaken, which is possibly. Maybe I'm just maybe it was a dream I had about what's going to happen to Texas. And it involved cannibals and all kinds of stuff like that too. It was just all the undesirables were dropped off into Texas, a walled off Texas is what this movie was. And I can't remember what it's called now. Raymond K. says, holy crap, sounds like an Orisha from Santeria. Possibly. Long Pig. So Apple Crow, that's actually funny. The what was it? Was it the last Pirates of the Caribbean movie? Maybe it was where the one of the guys on the boat that's rowing some people over to the island, and he's talking about how the island was known for long pig as their specialty, and no one in the audience gets it. And I mean, I'm laughing my ass off because I knew what long pig meant was that it was human beings, and you could see he had his teeth filed down to points. He was supposed to be a cannibal, and yeah, that was I laughed in the theater, but no one else did. I pick up, like I said, some really esoteric pieces of information, and they're part of my head. Yes, he is playing Duncan Idaho in Dune. June. Yes, Dune. Aren't all the undesirables already in Texas? No, they've been escaping, Raymond. They move over to Florida sometimes. Sometimes they go to Southern California as well. I saw a lot of them down there. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, Jason Momoa has been like in tons of shit lately. He really has. But yeah. Definitely check out Frontier movie Fanabi. It's a good show. Excuse me. Cliffhanger. Oh, that's right. He's supposed to be in the remake of Cliffhanger. Honestly, that movie could be remade. That Stallone movie. That was a horrible fucking movie. Oh, with that fake eagle in the beginning and the singing, and yeah, that was just a horrible movie. Raymond says, did you like John Carter or Valerian? So John Carter from Mars, I saw that in the theater and I fell asleep during it. Valerian, I was disappointed by because I had seen the director. Now I'm blanking on his name. Jesus Christ. It's really Saturday. I had seen the director at Comic-Con. He was in Hall H and it was empty. And he was talking about Valerian. And I was excited for it. And I saw it in the theater and I'm like, oh man, you didn't focus on the story at all. Luc Besson. Thank you, Apple Crow. Yeah. And it's like, yeah, dude, you didn't focus on the story at all. You focus on the special effects, but you forgot the story. You forgot to bring the story to it. So, I'm not being a political bad boy, Carl. It's just, every time I read a story about something that is way the fuck out there that you can't believe is going to happen, I go, this got to be Texas or Florida, is what I say. It either happened in Texas or Florida. And sure enough, they go, Texas, man. Da, da, da. And I'm like, there you go. Or Florida, man. Or Florida woman. Or Florida woman. Or Texas woman. Yes. So it's really not being political. It's just for some reason, really stupid shit happens. And I mean, stupid shit happens everywhere, but the majority of it happens in those two places. Sorry if you're from there and you're offended by it, but you prove me wrong on it. That's all I'm going to say. Albuquerque says, as a Texan, thanks, Florida. Florida, the proving Texas wrong state for 40 years. Mufinobi says, I couldn't get into Valerian. I watched once but didn't care for it. Yeah, I watched it the one time and I really couldn't watch it any more than that. So Stanley asks, will Dune be set out on HBO Max? That's a good question. So it's set for August release, but I know that the director is suing Warner Brothers right now because of that. So we don't know. They still have it slated as coming out on HBO Max in August. They being Warner Brothers said that everything that was being released in 2021 was going to be released in the theaters and on HBO simultaneously. So HBO Max simultaneously. So from what I understand, they're not deviating from that plan, even though theaters are starting to reopen now. I'm not going into a theater, even when I get vaccinated. I'm not going in there because it's stupid. Again, like I said, you have a minimum wage, you have understaffed minimum wage people that are supposed to be deconning a theater in between showings. How often do you think that's going to happen? They were before the epidemic, they were supposed to be, or the pandemic, I should say. They were supposed to be cleaning those theaters in between showings. Fuck all if they did that. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be decontaminating these theaters in between showings either. Yeah, Dennis Villeneuve is suing WB. Yep, because it came to light, the whole thing with Wonder Woman in 1984, that Patty Jenkins and Gal Gadot both got paid like about $10 million a piece extra to basically go, yeah, that's great, that's coming on HBO Max, when they couldn't care less because they actually got their money off of it. And so after that, Dennis Villeneuve was like, whoa, if you're paying them, I want to get paid as well, and I also want my theater, my movie in the theater. So yeah, the comics are awesome, Raymond. If you haven't read the comics for Valerian, the Valerian is based on, I should say. I think I don't have them here. Oh, sorry about that. I just lost my headphones. There we go. And I just found out also that my ear cups are magnetic. They come off on that. That's interesting. I don't have it in the room here, but I have it in the bedroom. But yeah. I want to see a supervillain movie called Florida Man based on actual events. That's pretty funny. Applecrow says, to be fair, I have a home theater set up and I can barely be asked to clean up after each movie. Yeah, true. Me too. I know what you mean. Sorry. There we go. I literally just kind of, yeah, I didn't realize these are magnetic and they just pull right on off like that and then stick right back on. Ooh, hey, there we go. All right, much better. Now I can actually hear again. Carl says, as much as Wonder Woman 84 sucked, I still want to see, I want big movies like Dune in the theater. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah. That's where my secondary bookshelf is. Movie Nobies in the bedroom. Where I keep all the really good books and movies. Apple Crow says, but I don't throw popcorn and drinks on the floor. Yeah, I don't piss on my floor either, like I do in the movie theaters. But so 44-inch TV. How do you see anything on that, Carl? I have a 65-inch. I was kind of debating that was a little too small. I should have gone for the 75. Yeah. Mufinobi says, I enjoy Cliffhanger. It's not art, but that's a horrible movie, Mufinobi. That was a horrible, horrible movie. I mean, talk about melodrama. And John Lithgow was just chewing up scenery on that one. He really does. 2 TVs? You must be rich. He's just pulling your leg, honey. Nobody has 2 TVs. Good old Back to the Future. Stanley Twiddle says, has anyone told a nasty joke yet to invoke Morks? No, so you need to say Mork's name 3 times. Morks, Morks, Morks. And then he shows up. Or, Emma Stone boobs is what you say too, as well. Now that I've said both, he'll probably show up. So, yeah. Or maybe not. Wow, that's kind of amazing. I'm surprised. Don't blaspheme the God Stallone. Let's talk about a little movie called Judge Dredd. Oh, man, that was a horrible fucking movie. That really was. I mean, okay, there were some parts of it that are okay, but yeah, you get this 5'2" guy to play, Judge Dredd, and yeah, that just was not good. Yeah, I agree with you, Apple Crow. Dredd is the only movie. That is the only Dredd movie, and Carl Urban needs to go back to playing that. That movie has not gotten a sequel. Is the most criminal thing ever. And yes, I did see it in 3D. 3D is fucking awesome with that movie. Especially the when people are taking the slow-mo pill and you see Judge Dredd first person in the door and all that stuff and it's going in slow motion. Awesome movie. Yeah. Demolition movie. Demolition Man's one of my favorites, Pen. I have that in the DVD collection over here. As a matter of fact, I realized that I have the generic sci-fi. So there's a sci-fi music that plays in Demolition Man throughout the entire movie, just about, and it's it's I can't do it, but I realize it's actually background music in my head that is there if I bother to kind of slow down a little bit, and it's always there, which really sucks. By the way, I'll just say that right now. But yeah, so yeah, Demolition Man, and I know the reason why that popped back into my head is because Wesley Snipes is in Coming to America, the sequel to Coming, which by the way is on Amazon Prime. Not bad, but I wouldn't have paid money to see it in the theater. It was passable. There's some cringy moments in it. I'll say that right now. There are some old man moments where they you know there's a few old man moments. Let's just say that where it's like, dude, no. But for the most part, it's funny. Yeah. But Wesley Snipes is in that as well, and Yeah, he's actually pretty hilarious in it too. You didn't like it, Raymond? You didn't like the sequel? I mean, there's parts of it that are horrible, yes, but I mean, for what it was, I thought it wasn't bad. Yeah. You need to go use the 3 seashells? What are the 3 seashells? Is that where the toilet paper is supposed to be at? They used handfuls of wadded up paper in the 20th. Oh, Sandra Bullock. That's like one of her first movies. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Just trying to figure some stuff out here. Seeing if maybe I did a little damage to my headphones, but no, I didn't. But anyway. All right. I should probably let you guys go for the day because it's getting close to my vaccination time. So, yeah, I'm going to have to get going here. Thank you, everybody. What else do I have going on this week? I should say tomorrow and Monday, I'm going to be off. Tuesday is going to be another episode of Is It Worth My Time? And this time around, it's going to be Pacific Rim The Dark, which is on Netflix. I'm going to be doing that. And Wednesday, I'm going to be off. Thursday will be Resident Alien. I'm going to be doing Resident Alien. Friday, I'll be off because there's nothing on Disney Plus at the moment. And Saturday, we'll come back around again to Saturday Morning Blast Off, where we take the genre news of the week and any genre stuff you guys want to talk about when we talk about it. Thanks, Move for Nobby. Yeah, I actually was signed up. It's kind of funny. I had a scheduled one for the 21st. And then my county emailed me about, what was it? Thursday night, yeah, and said, "Hey, we've got one for Saturday if you want to come in." And I was like, "Fuck, all right." So I scheduled for that one instead because it was closer. I didn't have to cross a bridge and everything in order to get to it. And yeah, you spent 2 hours in the vaccination center. So ours is in the county fairground. This one that I'm going to, from what I've heard, it's been pretty quick. It's been like, I've had coworkers now that have been doing it, and they said it's like 40 minutes at most. And that's them getting there early. So Apricot says my county emailed me the day before my second shot asking me if I was still interested in being on the list. Yeah. Yep. Apricot says, so now that WandaVision is done, is it watch it? It's good, or oh my god, go watch it now. You haven't seen it yet, right, Apple Crow? You haven't seen WandaVision yet? I would say it has its moments, but don't read anything into don't read into anything into any of the hints that they give out in it. That's all I'm going to say. Because you'll be fairly disappointed by it if you read into any of the hints that they lay out throughout the entire series. Just take it at face value, and you'll be better off for it. Yeah. Your country is famous for its bureaucracy. Nice. All right, everybody. I'm going to let you guys go for the day. Thank you to everybody who joined me today in the chat and also participated in the chat, too. That was actually really cool. And thank you if you made it this far in the video. Sorry for the sneeze about midway through, but it happens. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. Until then, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. Otherwise, you may find yourself, I don't know, trapped in a bad movie cliche, which is never really good, but it happens quite often. Thanks, everybody. I will see you again on Tuesday. Until then, stay safe, be well, take care, wear those masks, and make sure to get those vaccinations if you can sign up for them. Thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of your weekend.